Welcome to SSPTV Community News. I'm Lisa Sugart. Friday, November 11th was Veterans Day, and this week I have a very special story about a local foundation that helps veterans and the community all year round. I found a story to bring you during this month of November that I thought was especially appropriate. It deals with an organization that encourages patriotism. I am talking about the Captain Jason Jones Foundation in Schuylkill County, and it is named after the late Captain Jason Jones from Orwigsburg, Pennsylvania. I have the honor of being joined by his mother right now, Susie Jones, who is the president of that foundation. First of all, Susie, we want to say thank you for your son's service, and thank you for doing this interview with us and keeping his memory alive and promoting the foundation, which seems to be absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's truly a pleasure. I think it would be the best to start off with, for someone who maybe is not familiar with the foundation or your family, to tell us about your son. Unfortunately, he lost his life in the line of duty in Afghanistan in 2014. Tell us about Jason and what made him so special, because so many of his friends want his name to continue forever, so they created this foundation.
Jason grew up here in Orwigsburg. He went to Blue Mountain Elementary, middle, and high school. He wasn't a big person. He grew to be 5'9", but all through middle school, he was on the short, smaller side. But he became very mighty on his sports teams because he put in so much effort. So when he got to high school, he became captain of his soccer team, captain of his basketball team, and in senior year, he kicked for the football team. Besides maybe how good he might have been in sports, the most important thing was the friends he made through those programs. And Jason got on a basketball team his senior year. There were 5 starters. He was one, the shortest. They went 30-0 that year, and they became such tight friends. One of them cried when he left for West Point after he graduated. He came to our house, and I saw him at the end of the driveway, and he was all teary-eyed. I said, "Nate, you'll see him again." But they didn't see a whole lot of each other, because at West Point, you have your summers where they send you places and give you assignments also. At West Point, he started making friends again. But the amazing thing was, he would have loved to have played a Division I sport. He didn't. Of course, he didn't make the team in soccer. So what he did do was join the Sandhurst team, which is a military team that has an 11-mile, really tough course that they compete in. There are teams from other countries that come. England sends a few. And he became captain of that team. And that's kind of a team a lot like the Special Forces, in a much smaller, less threatening way. So he graduated after being on those teams for 3 years there. He was a very humble person. Jason never told us about his achievements. And there we were sitting at his West Point graduation, and he came up to us, and the vice president at the time was Dick Cheney, and he gives the diplomas to the first 100. And Jason came up to us and he said, "I'm going to get a diploma from Dick Cheney." And we said, okay, he'll be in the top 100, maybe number 99, something like that. He was number 6. And we were just, you didn't tell us, but that kind of describes his personality, and also the personality of the friends he met, because his friends were down to earth, fun-loving, good-natured guys, never bragged about themselves and their achievements. That kind of sums up to the point where he was sent to Fort Bragg. He joined in infantry. He decided that that was going to be his course for the Army. And they started out as a second lieutenant. he went through the 82nd Airborne training. He became an Army Ranger. And in 2009, he went to Iraq as a brigade leader for the 505th Division. His job there was basically in 2009 to walk the streets and kind of keep guard. Things had calmed down there. And you know, when he came home, I talked to him. They were on the second floor of a building, and the people would try to steal from them in the building. So they had to have a night watch to keep the people from getting up the steps and stealing their supplies and their food and things like that. So he came back home, and he was determined with one of his roommates at Fort Bragg to get into the Special Forces. So he did qualify for that, and he went through the Special Forces training. He gave us a little bit of insight to some of that training. It's kind of like an Army Ranger. They're thrown into the woods in Louisiana, and you got to make it on your own for, I believe he said, a week. I might be wrong about that time frame. But when you think about what these people do, men and women, just to train alone, much less be deployed, it's not like our day. Veterans should be put on a pedestal for what they have gone through. So he did pass the qualification course, and he was sent to Afghanistan in April of 2014. He really downplayed with our family what he was going to do as captain of a Special Forces team. He said, "Mom, we're going to kind of hang back, and we're going to work with the Afghan military, and we're going to go into villages, but we're going to be on the outskirts."
Sadly, Captain Jason Jones was killed in action in Afghanistan on June 2nd, 2014.
I learned after his death from the soldiers and people that were with him exactly what they were doing. And I'm just amazed that this little boy that I took to kindergarten became that brave, not because of me, just because of the experiences that he gave himself to do the things that they were doing to free those people.
Well, I'm sure your upbringing had a lot to do with it, I'm sure. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. We know that. Now, this foundation was started in your son's honor by his friends from high school, which is amazing. And you said that to this day, they're there for you all the time, and that they're always close by and they come for everything. So tell us about the foundation. What does it do for Schuylkill County, the community, and the veterans in the community?
That's a hard question to answer, but I'll start with to make the money that we generate to provide our supports. We have an annual fundraiser golf tournament in September, and it's at the Schuylkill Country Club, which is part of Orgsburg. So it's a very personal, local thing. Many of the people knew Jason, grew up with him. The parents knew us. So that's where we get our donations, plus actually from all over the country. So we have this pool of money, and we have Zoom meetings once a month. We have 9 members. 6 are from his high school. And then there's myself, his dad, Jay, and his sister, Lizzie. We all vote. No one has more clout than the next person on the foundation. And we come up with supports. You asked me what we actually did. We have a county scholarship for a high school student graduating that wants to go military. And we have a Blue Mountain High School scholarship that we also fund. They're $1,000 scholarships. We have a scholarship down at Fort Bragg for a Special Forces family to send a child to a pretty good private school. So that's 3 scholarships that we fund. Around the county, we just Opportunity House just lost their funding, which is sad. They were based in Pottsville. They're also based in Berks County and another county close by. They help homeless vets. They help place struggling veterans into better housing or housing at all. So we were packing great big welcome home boxes full of household items, expensive ones like silverware, toolkits, you name it. You know, we would just go shopping at Walmart or Lowe's and just start loading these boxes with things, towels. And we were doing that. I heard another agency might start up in the county again, because we were just about to do a project with them to provide 50 blankets to homeless vets. So I'm hoping we can get on board if another agency comes on. We get individual requests. We help build a wheelchair ramp for a veteran in need in Gilberton, a little bit north of us. We have funded the Orgsburg Memorial Center. It's a community center that they honor veterans in their foyer. They have basketball, all kinds of recreational activities. So it's not always just directly for veterans. It's also to benefit the community, as long as veterans, it's the Veterans Memorial, and we help fund the foyer that highlights veterans.
If somebody is
bought-
watching this, can they donate? Can they make a donation going to your
Oh,
website?
absolutely. We'll take every penny we can get. And I want them to know we do not take a dime, not for gas mileage or anything. All of us just donate our time and some money to just give back and keep this foundation going. They can make a donation online on our website at www.captainjasonjones.com.
Okay, and if they have any questions, how do they contact you?
info@captainjasonjones.com. That'll go into our website. And then we read our emails, and then we can respond to that person.
This story is amazing. I wish we had more time to even talk more, but I think it's wonderful that your son's memory lives on through this foundation, and you're doing such good works to help out so many people. I think it speaks volumes about your son, that all of his friends still to this day continue to come out and support the foundation and his memory. It's an honor to talk with you. And again, thank you so much for your son's service and for what he did for this country.
Thank you.